Welcome to Grammar Lesson 3.2a, the present tense subjunctive mood in Spanish. First, it's important to understand what the subjunctive actually is. The subjunctive is a verb tense, but it's moreover a mood that's used in certain complex sentences. Now, a complex sentence is when you have two different clauses that are connected by the word que, and the first clause indicates command, opinion, doubt, or emotion. When that is present, then the second clause requires the subjunctive. So, the subjunctive mood can never be used in the first clause. The subjunctive mood can only be used in the second clause. There are multiple tenses within the actual subjunctive mood. You have a present tense and a past tense, just like you have already learned. However, these will be the subjunctive moods, so they're used in complex sentences. So let's look at the translation component. There is absolutely no difference in how you translate these sentences. The present tense that you know right now is he plays soccer, we win the game. I go to church, they know the answer, you have the money. When we then go into the subjunctive mood, the translation is identical. We're just adding a clause to the beginning part of the sentence that happens to express command, opinion, doubt, or emotion. It is great that he plays soccer. It is unlikely that we win the game. It is important that I go to church. It is likely that they know the answer. It is possible that you have enough money. So you can see that the English is 100% identical in translation. The only difference is that the present subjunctive mood happens to have the first part indicating command, opinion, doubt, or emotion. So let's look at how this would translate into the Spanish. When I say he plays soccer, él juega fútbol. But remember, we have to change the conjugation of jugar into the subjunctive because we have that first clause element. Es excelente que él juegue fútbol. The verb es did not conjugate any differently, but the second verb after the que is what had to go into the subjunctive, so juega became juegue. Nosotros ganamos el partido. We win the game. Ganamos, AR verb. But as soon as I throw in that first clause, es improbable que, then I have to change ganamos to ganemos, que nosotros ganemos el partido. Yo voy a la iglesia. Okay, voy, ir, yo form. It happens to be an irregular. As soon as I throw another clause in front of that, I have to change voy to vaya. Es importante que yo vaya a la iglesia. So if we didn't have those first halves, es excelente que, es improbable que, es importante que, we wouldn't have to worry about the subjunctive mood at all. But because we do work with complex sentences, we then have to employ the subjunctive mood. But remember, when translating into English, there is no different. The present tense and the present subjunctive translate the same. Okay, let's look at how we actually conjugate in the subjunctive. Now remember, the subjunctive is dealing with a two-clause statement that's connected with the word que. The first clause will never go into the subjunctive mood. The first clause will always be your normal o, as, a, amos, ais, on endings. It's only after the conjunction que that we have to go into the subjunctive. So how do we conjugate? Put it into the yo form, present tense, drop the o, and flip all of the endings. So AR verbs now end like es, hemos, es, en. ER verbs end like a, as, a, amos, ais, an. And if you skip that first step, you're going to miss out on some key spelling changes because that yo form, it will catch any of our yo irregulars, our yo-go verbs, and our stem changers, which we have to be cognizant for. Of course, there are always irregulars, and the situation with the irregulars is that their yo form is irregular, so it causes us to have to make a little shift. The acronym we use for the irregulars is DISHES. Dar, ir, ser, haber, estar, and saber. Their conjugations are just odd. because that yo form is not just ending in an O. Doy, voy, soy, estoy, and se. So you can see we have no O to drop, so we have to use completely irregular forms, and those are listed out here. The key things to know about the irregulars is dar has 2 accent marks in the yo and the el, ella, usted. The vosotros always has an accent mark, which we're accustomed to. The other accent marks to be cognizant of is with estar. Every form except for nosotros has an accent mark. And beyond that, just vosotros. Okay, we also have to look out for car-gar-zar verbs, and this is to maintain the phonetic sound. We have to change car verbs to a QU and flip endings, so it's ke, kes, ke, kemos, kes, ken. Gar has to flip to GU to keep that sound. Ge, ges, ge, gemos, ges, gen. Zar is never allowed to have a ZE pattern, so we have to change the Z to a C. Se, semo, se, sen. Now I also listed her and hier verbs. These are technically not irregular since the yo form of these verbs would be J-O. But a lot of people overlook the J-O yo form, so I'm writing them here just to remind you that her and hier become ha, has, ha, hamos, hais, han. Okay, stem changers are a little bit complicated. We have to treat a stem changer just like we do in the normal present tense, which is a boot verb. So all of our stem changers will still stem change everywhere but the nosotros, vosotros. They will still maintain their original stem change, E to IE, E to I, O to UE, and U to UE. However, after we do the stem change, we also need to flip the endings. So AR verbs end in the ER-IR conjugations, and ER-IR verbs end in AR conjugations. So we make the stem change in the boot, everywhere but nosotros, vosotros, and then we flip all of our endings. Now here's where the stem changers become a little complicated. If the stem changer happens to be an IR verb, like preferir, servir, pedir, dormir. Okay, well, it will also change, the vowel will also change in the nosotros, vosotros. But instead of IE, it's just E to I. And instead of UE, it's just O to U. So a verb like dormir, it will have both an O to UE change in the boot and an O to U change in the nosotros, vosotros. So this third little bullet point here only applies to IR verbs. It does not apply to AR-ER. AR-ER verbs, boot only. IR verbs, boot and a special change in nosotros, vosotros. So let's take a look. Cerrar is an AR verb, so I'm going to stem change it everywhere but nosotros, vosotros. Cierre, 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 cierren. It's an AR verb, so I flipped my endings and I have the correct subjunctive. Nosotros, vosotros, I make no vowel changes. Seremos, seréis. Volver, same situation. I only change this ER verb in the boot, O to UE. Vuelva, vuelvas, vuelva, vuelvan. And it's an ER verb, so I flipped my endings. I do not vowel change in nosotros, vosotros. Volvamos, volváis. Now our other 3 stem changing verbs, preferir, servir, and dormir, they all end in IR. Preferir is normally an E to IE, servir, E to I, and dormir, O to UE. So they will maintain those vowel changes in the boot. So you can notice prefiera, prefieras, prefiera, prefieran. Sirva, 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 sirvan. Duerma, duermas, duerma, duerman. However, because they end in IR, these verbs also undergo a slight change in nosotros, vosotros. E's become I's and O's become U's. It doesn't matter if that was already the change or not. This is special just for nosotros, vosotros. So even though preferir was IE in the other conjugations, it's just an I in the nosotros, vosotros. Prefiramos, prefirais. Servir really doesn't have a complication because it was E to I to begin with, so its nosotros form are sirvamos, sirváis. Dormir has that other special change. It was UE inside the boot, but because it has the special nosotros, vosotros form, we get durmamos, durmáis, just a U. So stem changers are particular. You have to take your time and really identify what type of stem changer it is, how does it change, is it boot only, or is it an IR verb that also changes in nosotros, vosotros? So there's a lot of moving pieces to stem changers. Okay, it's time for you to show me what you retained. See you in class.